In this tutorial, we are going to recreate Havana by Camila Cabello, and we're going to use the T8 and the J6. Let's start with the T8. Once you've turned it on, Shift Pattern Clear All to clear everything, and change the tempo to 110. Next, make sure your volume is on about 3/4, your delay is off, and your reverb is off. We're going to start with the bass drum, and we're going to input bass drum on 1, 7, 9, and 15. Then we're going to press Shift and 17 to 32. This will automatically copy the steps from the first page, 1 to 16, so we're going to edit these a little bit. Take them all out, and then put in 3, 5, and 11. Press play and listen to what you've got. Go back to page 1, Shift 1 to 16, go to snare, and input 5 and 13. Hold down Shift 17 to 32, and do the same. Listen to that. Do the same for hand clap. 5 and 13. Go back to page 1, 5 and 13. Next, go to the tom and input 1, 7, 13. Go to page 2 and put in 5 and 9. Listen to that. Go Shift, Menu, and find TON, which is Tom. Press Enter, and change it from Tom 1 to Tom 2. Exit, exit again. Listen. You now have a higher tom in your drum kit. Make sure you're on page 1, and now we're going to put in closed hi-hat on 1, 5, 7, 11, and 13. Then go to the second page and do the same. 1, 5, 7, 11, and 13. Go to the bass and put that on about halfway, the snare on about halfway, the hand clap halfway, and the hi-hat halfway. Bass, take the tune down to 0, make sure the decay is off. Snare, tune it to about 50% and decay is off. Tom, tune it to 100%, all the way to the right. Hi-hat, decay all the way to 100%. Let's listen to it. Now we're going to add the bass. Make sure the level is on about 3/4. Pitch needs to be on 0. Cut off at about 1/3 or about 30 to 40%. Reso on about halfway. Decay at about 50% and end mod on 0. Activate the bass and the keyboard and listen to the sound. For this song, we're going to input the bass in 2 different ways. For the first half, we're going to play it in live and try and record it using our ear to get it in time. To do that, practice along with the track. You're going to play the notes G, D, D sharp, and D again. In this rhythm, I'm going to play it along with the drum kit so you can hear it. I'm going to turn on the drum machine to give you some space to practice along on your own. I'll give you about 8 bars to practice along with. Here we go. Once you finish practicing, make sure that you go Shift, Last, and change the number of steps to 32. Exit and press play and record to record it in live. Next, we're going to input a new pattern. This is the breakdown in the song. Press Pattern and change it to 1.2 and get out of Pattern. Press Shift, Pattern Clear All, go to bass drum. Input 1, 3, 5, 11, and 15. Then go Shift, Last, and change the number of steps to 32. Press Exit. Listen to it. Copy the same rhythm into the snare drum. Do the same for hand clap. 1, 3, 5, 11, and 15. Finally, do the same for closed hi-hat. 1, 3, 5, 11, 15. Next, we're going to input the bass for the second pattern. Go to bass, but this time we're not going to use keyboard. Add a note using the step sequencer. Once you've added the note, hold it down and scroll up until you get G2. Do that for 3, hold it down, G2, and 5. Hold it down, G2. We're going to extend each of these notes to make them a little bit longer. Hold down the trigger next to the one that's selected and turn the dial all the way to the right until you get note tie. We're going to do that here and here. Listen. Go to 11 and change this note to D sharp 2. Put in a note tie next to it. Go to 15, hold it down, and change this one to D. Put in a note tie next to it. Listen. Now we need to extend it to the second page. Shift 17 to 32 and delete all of these. Hold down the first trigger and change it to note tie. Do that for the next 8. Press play. We now have our two patterns. Pattern 1.1 is this. And pattern 1.2. Before you move to the J6, hold Shift and right and save all. That will save both patterns for you when you come back to the T8. Let's go to the J6. Okay, first step with the J6, Shift, clear, enter. Make sure the tempo is on 110. Go Shift, last, and check that it's on 8 so that we have 8 steps activated. Exit. Then go Shift, menu, go to beat, enter, make sure it's on 1 so that each step gets allocated 1 beat. Exit. Exit again. Go to sound and check that you're on 1.8. Turn off chord, get out of sound. Make sure your delay is off, your reverb is off, and your volume is on about 80%. Check that you're in pattern 1.1 and get out of pattern. Let's input some chords into the sequencer. The first one is step 2, and we're going to put in D, G, and B flat. Step 4, E flat, G, B flat. Step 6, D, F sharp, A, and C. Press step 7 and hold, step 8 and hold. Let's listen to that. Get out of step 8 first. Make sure the filter frequency is on about 80 to 90 and the envelope somewhere around 120. We don't have a piano sound on the J6, so you'll need to choose the sound that you like the most. I've gone with 1.8, but you can choose something else if you like. Next step, we're going to go to pattern, 1.2, get out of pattern, and clear it. Shift, clear, enter. Make sure it's on 110. Check sound is 1.8. Let's input some steps. Number 1, D, G, and B flat. We're going to do the same for 2 and 3. Step 6, E flat, G, B flat. Step 8, D, F sharp, A, C. Get out of 8. Shift, second page. Number 1, hold. 2, hold. 3, hold. 4, hold. Get out. Let's listen to it. Let's put this together with the T8 and see what it sounds like. On both of the instruments, go into pattern, make sure they're both on 1.1, then press play at the same time. I'm going to play it now and move between patterns 1.1 and 1.2. I'm going to do it here on the T8 and here on the J6. I could also do it using the tempo value wheels, but I find this a bit easier. I have to press the triggers a little bit before the next pattern when I want to start it. You'll see what I mean. Have fun!